I feel like I need to learn but don't need to learn. Hi. So, for you guys that don't know, I just went live on the other channel too. I'd rather stay here though, but I'm gonna go live on both. And it just told me to do the bubbles. Whenever I go live on my phone, it wants the damn bubbles. I wish I could do the bubbles on this. So, I wonder if I can get like a holder. Oh, you guys can see me. So now I'm on both channels. So, and I'm waiting for people to be like, do you know you live on the other channel? I literally have. Like, I didn't even know this was a thing for a second. My smarts kicked in. So I want to be able to pay attention to both though, because I'm live again on the other channel. But I definitely want this to be like in regards to like spiritual debate on this channel. So maybe I'll do it every once in a while, because what I really want to do is get to the meditation. And I'm going to have to plug you in. And so sometimes I'm thinking to myself, like, not sometimes, well, I'm just like in general thinking to myself right now, like, I don't know what I was thinking because I got pulled to fa la la la. Are you literally, this is neat. How are you on both right now? How did you just do that? You got one on one channel, one on the TV, and like one on the computer? Honey, you don't need to watch both, but that's cute. That's funny. Or is it more interesting on both, right? I'm trying to look for my little stand. I think it's funny. I didn't even think for a minute I could do that, and here I am, like, I don't know where this channel, what did I do with it? Like with certain topics, like I wanted to keep it for like something certain, but then I'm like, you can't just do that. Like, it's not a thing. It is a thing, but not a thing. Where is my stand? Where can you be? It shouldn't be this far away. I shouldn't have to crawl on the floor to find my phone stand. But I'm crawling on the floor to find my phone stand. Okay, interesting. I mean, it's a pretty good sized phone stand, Troop, so I mean, it should not be this hard to locate. I think the last time I used it, I could have been outside, but I can't imagine I left it outside. Okay, well, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit of dilemma because I need to charge my phone. A little bit of a dilemma. Alright, I will finagle a bagel and figure it out. So, no disrespect for the woman or man who commented on the other channel. I appreciate the feedback. I do. But, and this is like a never-ending, it feels like a never-ending battle. I just find it very strange that that's missing right now. This doesn't make any sense. Oh boy, I'm running out of plugs. Alright, well that's that lamp. And that's that lamp. So let's get rid of this lamp, because I only have like 10 lamps in this bedroom. I'm a lamp girl. I'm a lamp girl. Hey. So I'm gonna, how am I gonna prop you guys? I think I might be able to finagle you guys right there. I think it might be a thing. Oh my God. I found it. It was right in front of me the whole time. So, oh my gosh, harder than I thought. Up close and personal, but now I'm gonna back you up, and that way you're not in this one's face. So, and I want people's feedback here, because it's important, right? It's important. So, I'm situated. Whew. Okay. So, when it comes to, I didn't know I was on like the Leaning Tower of fucking Pisa over here. Really weird, the whole second behind the TV and the phone is like an echo. Oh no. So it's echoing, it's not gonna cut it? Or is it just the position? What do you think? Because it didn't stream at the same time? So is the same thing happening to you? SM? Mary? You don't have it at sound. Okay, so yeah, maybe turn down the volume on one of them. No echo over there. Okay. So just turn down the volume on one of them and leave the other one up. You know what I mean? So I can't even use my phone for an example to pull up anything per se. So someone just commented in regards to, okay, we're going to talk about light workers. Yeah, that makes sense. Light workers and alcohol and any other topic that you guys feel free to bring up, right? And someone basically said, I can't check because my phone's up there now. But basically, I was told, this, his or her words, I was told not to drink alcohol because light workers should stay in a certain frequency, right? So, and it's on the other channel when I went live, and I basically just wrote like a little paragraph. At the end of the day, this is one of those topics where it's going to be a hit or miss for people anyway. Like, people got a strong feelings when it comes to anything that can alter energy, for those who work with energy, right? There you go. But so I don't want to sound rude, like in the sense to like her comment, but why are you listening to other people in the sense of, in order to be a light worker, you have to follow like a certain protocol? So I don't know the whole story, you know what I mean, per se, behind who told her what. But all I know is that I have wine, shots of whatever once in a while. I'll crack beers. I'll have a slice of cake. And this has never affected my spiritual being, in a sense of my spirituality and who I am. And it's never threw me off kilter. You know, so I just think there's this perception out there of like how light workers should be or how to act, whether you're a light worker or a starseed, regardless of where you want to categorize something. But no matter who you are, you should always be eating clean and stuff like that for your own health, mental clarity, that type of stuff, right? So here's the thing that gets me. There's so many things, like alcohol is linked to spirits, right? But so isn't a shitty job. So isn't a shitty coworker. Or you're having a shitty day. Your child's having a shitty day. That frequency, solar storms, planets going retro, all that stuff is the same thing. Now, I guess one can beg to differ and say, you know, and debate me on, well, you know, but we're choosing, is a difference because you're choosing to drink or you're choosing to crack the beer or whatnot, you know. But sometimes, like, when you go to work and you have a shit job, you want to pay bills, but you don't like it, and you know it's bringing your frequency down, and you know it's not what you want to do or what you want to be, and yada, 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 and you still settle, right? So when I'm cracking a beer, I'm not like, oh, I'm going to take away today's problems, and this is going to be great, and yet that's, you know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between an alcoholic and cracking a few beers, guys. And I know people are going to debate this, like, to the end when it comes to stuff like this, right? But, which is fine. It is what it is. It is what it is. But I can still channel. I still all that stuff, prophecy, seeing things, like higher knowledge, like, I mean, yeah, I smokes for how many years? I'll still take a freaking pot gummy once in a while. Like, it does not affect my spirituality. And I guess it's where, it's how you perceive things. Because I'll know I've known like 2 readers that would be like, oh, I don't drink. Or maybe it's because I drank in a past life and I just don't drink now. Or I choose not to drink. And they're a complete, like, health nut. And there's nothing wrong being that person and being very conscious of your body. I think that's great, right? But you can't associate that to just, like, a light worker, you know? Now, if you can no longer, so she says, after my 5th ascension, I can no longer drink alcohol and eat meat. It wasn't a choice for me. It makes you feel ill, yeah? And that's how it is with me and certain stuff too. That's a given. But I'm talking about, like, those who are not drinking because they're associating it with an addiction. Like, there's a big difference there. And I guess that's where, like, this debate comes into play. But you can get an attachment to anything. I hear from people that one can get an entity. That one can get an entity attachment. Wait, what is that? I hear from people that one can get an entity attachments from doing different things, like, yes, I cannot eat meat or do meat. Spirit's gonna go no with that. Okay, but here's the thing. My guides versus their guides. It's not even my guides that are giving me the information. It's more like higher above, right? Well, but well, I guess I'm curious, like, where are people hearing this, or where do you hear it from? Like, drinking and heavy drugs, like, stuff like, I mean, that's a given. That is a given. Like, I'm not saying, like, it's not a thing. Like, if you have to drink to suppress feelings, if you have to drink because you don't want to deal with how your day went, like, that's different. I'm talking, like, I just want to crack a beer and have a beer with a couple friends and just, I like to taste the beer and whatever the case may be. Like, you know, there's a difference there. There's a big difference. And that is not an addiction. That is not going to slow down a drink. I mean, it even says in the Bible, they give kids wine at dinner. So I'm trying to figure out where this came into play. And eating clean and spirituality, now that I get that. But within the last year, people are attaching spirits to like so many different things. Like, it's just, I'm just trying to figure out where everybody's kind of going with this and their thought and their take on it. You know? Because they're making it sound like if you have a drink, like you now belong to the demons and the devil, and it's an addiction and it's bad. But I mean, that's the same thing if you have a shit friend and you're hanging out with a shitty person and your energy is going to be affected, but you're addicted to doing that. It's the same shit. So because you can get an addiction off of that, at that point it's not healthy. But you can be addicted to a person, and at that point it's not healthy either. I'm just trying to figure out why this spiritual industry is attaching shit that doesn't belong to certain stuff. Because that's what's happening. And people will debate this until they turn blue in the freaking face with this one. Because if you've ever had an addiction, some could say alcohol is a gateway. So you absolutely cannot connect to higher realms if you're drinking. It's sacred. Our vessel needs to be a clear channel. Well, first of all, I would never be going into a higher realm being drunk and looking for stuff like that. But that's not necessarily true, because I'm getting called to ayahuasca, whatever it is. And people do that. That's to reach the higher realms and interdimensions. See, Spirit's going to debate this no matter what, because this is where they're having the problem. Because that's not necessarily true at all. You could have a dark person, you could have a nasty witch, you could have so many things connecting to higher realms, and they already have all these entities attached to them, and they don't have the clearest intentions or the clearest mind, but they're still making it through to all that shit. We have to think outside the box here, guys. And I'm just coming back at you with my thoughts or Spirit's thoughts. Because somebody needs to do this shit. Because it's not, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not true. Like, you could be connecting to the highest realm and you'd be very depressed and on drugs, and there's a spirit that comes through because they want to get a hold of you. And you're going to remember that, and maybe then you're sober up. So you don't have to have that clear channel like you're saying. And I'm not trying to be an asshole. You come at me with all the shit that you have, and Spirit would tell me if it's right or wrong. This isn't about me just being right. We're trying to demystify things here. Is where we're going with this. You know? There's something else I saw. Yeah, you can, I'm 100% not understanding. What do you mean by that? You're telling me I'm interpreting what you're saying wrong? Then just explain it differently, because I don't want you to get upset. I don't want other people to get upset. but you can connect to other realms. If you're channeling, you're going within in certain things, obviously you can't be an alcoholic and do that for a living. Like there's just, I mean, there's certain things, there's dynamics, there's so many things to put into equation. You can contribute correctly. Of course you can. Like if you're just like kind of like frustrated, or you feel like, you know, like it's a never-ending battle, then maybe you shouldn't have this conversation. But this isn't about like getting upset. Like I want to know what people are thinking, or why it is coming down to stuff like this, or where you're getting your information. Like this conversation. Okay, so yeah, it's just misinterpretation, because she's saying yes, you can connect. I agree. So it's just miscommunication. But from like where I'm coming from in regards to like the people that want to debate with alcohol being a spirit, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I'm live on both. I get it. Absolutely, hands down. But so isn't a lot of other things. You can say having a slice of cake can have an entity attached to it too, because, you know, you could be addicted to food, or you shouldn't be, you know, you should know better, you're a diabetic and you shouldn't be having that. I mean, there's so many things, like we can associate a spirit to everything. The fact that I don't like is that they're bringing it into the spiritual realm where it doesn't, they're equating it to spirituality, which is bullshit. And this is the shit that's got to stop. This is the shit where people got to like speak up, talk about things, debate. Spirit with me, I don't always have to be right. Spirit will nip something in the butt real quick. Like, it's not me giving the higher answers in the sense of like, yes, no, I'm hearing that. Like, I'm using my pendulum to get like these answers too, and going back and forth. Like, I'm very opinionated when it comes to things, but there are some things I don't have knowledge on. That's a given. You know what I mean? So I'll just ask their opinion or certain stuff. But I know when I'm getting pulled, there's so many things, and it's triggering energy like this, and how things are coming out and about. Everything is like up for debate. You know what I mean? Like, why not have this conversation? So many people will have this conversation, or they'll write something, or they'll do a little meme or a little video, and then thousands of people will comment, and then you got all these other people that agree with this person, and then, you know, shitting on all the other people because they don't agree with somebody else's opinion. Like, that's gonna happen. It's gonna go back and forth. So I'm just trying to like, and that can clearly happen here too. That's fine. Okay, get what I'm saying? Like, in the sense of being spiritual, you know, have so much fun in Cali. In the sense of being spiritual and linking certain things to like, if you're spiritual, you shouldn't drink, you shouldn't smoke. Nobody should be doing that. That's like somebody dying of lung cancer and smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I mean, you're going to get there quicker. You know what I'm saying? But then some would say, hey, well, you're dying anyway, so smoke away. I mean, we can literally go either way with everything, really, you know? But I just don't know, like, why do we have to attach it to spiritualism? Like, why now is this happening? Because it doesn't belong there. It's like the twin flame conversation we had. Like, why are we, like, that was a human species that made that word up. It doesn't exist in 4D, so why do people still make it relevant? And smoking's not good. But it's not closing gateways off to you. You know what I mean? Addictions will, like certain things, but not like a smoking addiction with nicotine is not going to shut down your spirituality. It's not going to shut down your channels. It's not going to do any of that. That's something you have, I guess it depends on the circumstances, but that's something like you have to, like at the end of the day, we all make our choice to do what it is we do. Right? Okay, so now she's like, all right, now I get what you're saying. If you drink, you are still spiritual. Yeah, of course, it's ridiculous. I meant connecting while drinking, etc. Yeah, well, people who try to connect while they're doing that are, I guarantee Spirit will let you connect, but it won't be to the realm you want to connect to. You know what I mean? Especially if they want you in a certain place. But there's not too many of us, like, that have YouTube channels and things like that where oh, don't be sorry, no way. But I know a lot of them, like, will preach, like, they're do, you know, certain things. Like, I'm just saying, like, to be spiritual, like, and to be, like, a spiritual leader or something, like, you can't pass judgment because somebody cracks a beer, or you can't say, oh, well, you know, you have an addiction, so you're not going to get to, like, the higher level of consciousness you think you're going to get to, like, that type of stuff. Like, it's just, with certain stuff and certain people, I will say some are probably luckier than others when they get to, like, channel and certain stuff, because I know I can make better choices when it comes to eating and certain stuff, but I don't think to myself, like, okay, if I get healthier per se and I decide not to eat this today, I'm going to be able to connect to Spirit better, because it's not a thing. Now, if I'm, like, bogged down and lots of fat and doing this and I can barely, like, I'm stuffed and, like, I can barely keep my eyes out and I'm overdoing it and I know I'm over, like, that's different. You won't even be able to connect consciously at that point, because you're overeaten, you overexerted too many things are blockers, you know what I mean? But that's different compared to other things. Like, if I was to lose weight, eat healthier, to go to the gym every day, that's not going to make me a better reader. You know, in some cases, depending on who you are, yeah, only because you have to work with your nervous system and stuff like that. But that can be, no matter how healthy you are, those things can be thrown out of whack. And it's not because you have a glass of wine, you know, things like that. Your mental health boils down to the environment, that type of stuff. Work, friends, family, your own thoughts is where these entities and spirits come from. Yeah, a lot of people say you go vegan, you'll be more spiritual. It's not a thing. It can definitely help with certain things depending on if that's what your body needs. You know, but so in the sense, it doesn't make you more spiritual either. Neither does veganism make you more spiritual. So Spirit, like, is trying to tell me something here in the sense of, like, let me figure out what they're trying to tell me. So being vegan is not going to make you more spiritual in the sense of like your own thoughts and what you're thinking. I think what they're saying with being vegan can make you more spiritual in the sense of like there's something you might be better able to connect to. In regards to what, I'm not sure. They're trying to say something there though. Yeah, antidepressants, all that. Well, that's linked to the amygdala too, in the sense of like that's why that's targeted with pharma and all that right now too. So much better without them. And there's so much videos and they're talking about the brain and talking about the amygdala and detaching this, and I think they bring it into social media and this and that, but they're not giving like the true facts behind it. They're not breaking it down. You even have like scientists and other people like, you know, doing other things to get rid of anxiety and looking at things in certain ways and working with certain stuff, and it's still not targeting the right target, but we know what the right target is anyway, right? It's just a matter of getting there. I keep getting pulled to that vegan thing though. There is some type of cleaner connectivity there though with something. That's for sure. Because I've even noticed that like throughout my journey in the last year, like I'm not like that big into meat like I used to, and when I have meat on the plate, it's taken like a bite or two. So I think like eventually you might get to like your higher self's gonna tell you. You know. There's definitely, you can definitely connect with different things much better. But there's also stuff like I'm hearing, like it also depends on like your metabolism, and there's other stuff. There's other stuff too. Meat does not lower your vibration is what I'm being told. Fasting is a good way to reset things, but you're going to have to do like a good 3-day fast to get the reset that you want. Two-day fast. But I'm told meat isn't a low vibrational for your body. I mean, it maybe eating clean meat. I mean, I don't know, but I'm just being told no. It doesn't lower your vibration. Processed meat, I would say, yeah, probably processed meat. Lunch meat, that type of stuff, absolutely. You know? Yeah, I even heard that grass-fed though, that stuff like is not that great either. Like the labels is I think the best place you'd want to get it in like is a local farmer, or it's just the labeling these days. Something with the labeling. But I mean, I would probably want to go the grass-fed route with certain stuff, you know. But yeah, I don't know. What was I just gonna say? We were talking about certain meats, yeah, for sure. Cleaner meat, no, you're good there. There's something else I wanted to talk about. Thought not meditation or self-proclamation. I mean, these days, without meat is awful. I think that's why a majority of people are probably going vegan. But now that we got more people on, like, I want to know more thoughts on, do you think that the whole alcohol and being a spirit, which anything can be a spirit, a vessel, entity, but like in the sense of like, do you think it should be linked to spirituality? I want to know, like, when you guys see these little videos and certain stuff, like, do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like these little videos and the TikToks and the little 2-minute things, like, do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like, and how they're linking it to spirituality? That's what I want to, like, that's what I, like, do you think, like, it's, like, okay to link that to spirituality? Because they're basically saying you can't be spiritual and have a beer. It's basically what they're saying. Yeah, mind power will always get you there. You just came from the bar. That's cute. I like your sarcasm there. But what's bothering me is that they're linking it to spirituality because it's a spirit. Like, it's such bullshit. This is really the bigger conversation I want to have. Yeah, anything you're codependent on or you over abuse is an issue and therefore causes an entity you don't want. But it drives me fucking bananas that they're linking it to spirituality because it's a fucking spirit. No, I'm not drunk. I'm not judging. I drank every day when I was in a spiritual awakening. I did really good. I did really good. I had a gin and tonic and a shot of tequila. Don't judge me. You're not spiritual anymore. You know? But like the way that the girl or whatever on my page, and I hope she doesn't get insulted, she's like, I was told not to drink and like certain stuff. Who's telling you this? I want to know who's telling you this. Like, there's a difference between having a drink with friends every once in a while, cracking a beer, or having wine, between an alcoholic and things like that. Like, it's just, this is the part that we can't keep everything out of the whole being linked to spirituality, right? Like, I get it. But there are some things that need to be talked about so they're talking about it on platforms. Yeah, see, it's a little annoying to me that this is happening, because it needs to stay out of the concept of spirituality, though. But they say they can link it because it's a spirit. But I'm talking like, and I had one person comment like 6 months ago. I'm like, I can't believe people are like still commenting and reading my fucking comments from this long ago, right? Well, invite me. I want to do one of those with you. But like in the sense of like still commenting, and like some are like, there's more like 70 like rooting for the other team, and the 30 of them are like, I hear ya. I just comment to so these idiots would yada yada yada. But like, there's a difference. Like, if like, cause one lady, plenty of people are like, oh, I've been sober after so many years, and now I realize this and that. But like, that's because you are a fucking alcoholic, though. So now you're taking your addiction and you're blaming it on a bad spirit instead of taking accountability for your own fucking addiction. Like, what is happening here? Like, that's your codependency. So you're saying it's spirit's fault because you cracked open a fucking beer? No, that's your fucking fault that you didn't deal with your own shit. That's your fault. You know, and so many people were coming at me with, I can see so much clearer now. And it's like, no fucking shit. Because you're no longer a fucking alcoholic. Now you're accepting your feelings and dealing with what needs to be dealt with. But why? I'm sure in fucking AA, okay? AAA, no, that's AAA. I'm sure in AA, okay? AA, AAA, whatever the fuck, AA, is that what it is? I'm sure in AA, they're not like, and my name's, you know, Courtney, and I had a drink today, and I'm an alcoholic, and I want to quit. And, you know, I'm sure there's not people up there being like, all right, well, I'm glad, like, yada, yada. And, you know, it's, why don't you just blame it on, you know, spirituality? Like, because that's what's happening. Like, they're blaming this shit on spirituality, when the root of the cause is that person's issue in dealing with it and covering it up with alcoholism. Yeah, and I've been to a couple of those meetings too, or standing outside of those meetings when I was a kid being like, all right, let's go. You know what I mean? Like with certain stuff, and they're all smoking cigarettes and smoking fucking weed and shit, right? So it's like, but yet you want to preach and do this, but yet you got all your other fucking addictions to go along with it. But it's just the alcohol that's, you know, your main addiction. So let's work on one at a time. That's great, right? But like, I'm not trying to shit on anybody here, but like, I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty damn sure that there's nobody in the AA meetings blaming spirituality for their fucking problems. But now you got people on platforms blaming spirituality because it's linked to a fucking spirit. Stop putting spirituality into that conversation because it has no business there. Oh, and God and Jesus and God told me, and then I saw the light. How many shots of the fucking tequila did this chick fucking have? You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad you had your fucking epiphany, but I'm pretty sure in the Bible, sit down, have a glass of wine, let's discuss. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that alcohol is linked to spirit and it's bad for you. But yet, you saw the light, you saw God, and God spoke to you. And drinking was like, do you get where I'm going with that? I don't know exactly where I'm going with that, but like, that's where I just got led to have like that conversation. Facts. I don't know, it's just where I got led to like pursue the conversation.
Knock, knock.
Who's there? Cute. So that's why I'm just like, I just don't think half these people sometimes are realizing what they're writing either. You know, because it's like, oh, I saw the light and, you know, and God blessed me and this and that. And, but, okay, so you're bringing one religion into your addiction, but you're shitting on spirituality. Some people can look at it as a religion. It's not, though, but you can, right? Spirit would like it to be one solid religion again, so this shit doesn't fucking happen. But, like, it's kind of like contradicting themselves in a sense, because it's okay with God, but with spirituality, it's a different story. Like, so I'm just trying to figure out where the frick are people's heads with these conversations that people are having on these freaking platforms, because I'd surely like to fucking chime in on these fucking platforms. And I'm telling you, I made one comment and I got so irritated. And people to this day are still commented. It was just last month where I made my comment private. I'm like, I can't do this with people. I can't get myself bent out of shape and debating with somebody every fucking day that it has nothing to do with spirituality. And they're completely convinced it has everything to do with spirituality. But why? Because it's a fucking spirit. There's spirits in other fucking realms. There's spirits in other fucking religion. So why are they choosing spirituality to project it towards spiritualists? Like, this is the part I'm not understanding. Like, does anybody have clarity on why that's happening? Like, why are they choosing to link it to spirituality? Because God is a spirit. But God told me that it was linked to spirituality. Oh, so now you got your God shitting on other fucking gods? Oh, that's great. It's a great fucking topic. One God shitting on another God. Great. Like, I look at some of these, not now, but I go back and I'm looking, I'm like, this can't be real fucking life, but it's real life. You go ahead and make one fucking comment on a video like that, you are going to get swarmed. And I could only comment off and on for like a couple weeks. So I'm like, I can't take this anymore. Like, they're missing like what I'm saying, or like it just doesn't matter. Everyone like is jumping on everybody else's fucking bandwagon. But half of these people have had massive addictions to alcohol, and that's not. Well, when it says wine and spirit, it's not talking about wine and addiction. It's talking about wine and spirit in the sense of a spirit, but not in the sense of a bad entity. They're not going to promote their liquor store wine and take home a bad spirit at the same time. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but I'm just trying to think of like, I know that, so they call alcohol spirits, but like, that's people like that misuse alcohol, that have something bad to say about it and link it to spirituality. Because you know how many freaking Native American, I mean, you fucking name it, from the beginning of the fucking day, the tribals, indigenous people drinking and smoking weed and all this shit and channeling higher fucking dimensions and speaking to the fucking gods. You know, like how they connected with certain stuff. Like, so why all of a sudden in 2023 are you linking it as being a bad thing? It's a bad thing when it becomes a fucking addiction. So stop linking that bullshit to spirituality. It's annoying. And it doesn't make you less spiritual because I crack a fucking beer. Now, if I'm sniffing fucking lines, you're not going to want me as your fucking reader. I might be fun to fucking watch, but you're not going to get accurate readings. You know? Well, there's a lot of spiritual attachments that can happen in bars and saloons, salons, and whatever it is. Absolutely. But you're also in lower frequency vibing people that are alcoholics, people who have issues, people that come in and talk to other people. There's not much sunlight in these places. I mean, there's a lot of things to take into consideration. I can walk into a bar and walk out and be just fine. You're going to sit in the same place any day, no matter where you're at. You're going to have a dark cloud over your head. So you're taking that chance, whether it's a coworker or anything else. Is there a lot more in attachments that happen in places like that? Yeah. Want to know why? Because they can get you. That's on you. You know? That's like going to like a haunted mansion or like certain things and, well, I hope nothing touches me. I don't see anything and I'm freaked out, but I'm going to go anyway. Like, I can't even equate it to that. But I'm just saying, like, it's like going into a hospital, same shit. It's going into the basement, same shit. Stagnant energy. Energy that can't get anywhere. And that the darker spirits, that type of energy, they can cling to people with a lower vibration. Anybody with an addiction is going to have a lower vibration. Some people can get away with it and some people can't. Some people can be an everyday alcoholic and be perfectly fine. You know, they're not getting to the root of their issues, but I mean, they can maintain. You know what I mean? A functional alcoholic. I've known plenty of those in my fucking lifetime. You know? But at the end of the day, it still boils down to what they don't want to address or what got them there in the first place, whether it was war, whether it was a girlfriend, whether it was feelings, you know what I mean? Like, it still boils down to something. So it's basically like saying, is I get what you're saying. We're not really debating that. It wasn't even up for debate, but you know, working in places like that too is tough, but you're making the choice to you know, work in places like that as well. You know, it's like working at a hospital. Like, some can do it, some cannot. You know, I'm more bent out of shape with why they're bringing it into, why all of a sudden is it just seems like they're making it sound like spirituality is at fault. And it boils down to their addictions, and what they didn't want to address is the root of the fucking problem. So just leave spirituality out of the fucking shit. And all the people that want to comment and be like, oh my God, well, this makes so much sense. And that's facts, and it's true. They've all had the addiction. They overcame the addiction, but it still has nothing to do with spirituality. And I'm talking people, like, a majority of these people were like, Jesus saved me. You know, so, like, religion saves people. And I think that's great. It's what you choose, right? Everybody should have something, a belief, a faith. I think that's great. But in certain topics, certain things don't need to, like, be brought into it. I'm just saying, all those videos, oh, those are those cute doggies. I'm just saying, all those videos per se are bringing spirituality in it, and it's just, it's annoying. Anybody have any questions in regards to twin flames? Because we just had a conversation on that too. Might as well bring both of them into this conversation. And I think the woman also, and she's been around for a long time, so I almost wish she was here to have a conversation with us. But like, she lost her first husband to spirits, and I don't know what she meant by that, and I'm assuming she meant alcohol. But that's not spirit's fault. Like, so you're basically blaming spirits for one's addiction. You can't do that. I don't mean to be harsh, but like, that's not that's not what took him. Like, a spirit didn't take him. Like, alcohol could have took him, livers, things like that, like malfunction. Like, yes, that was the cause. But spirits had nothing to do with it. And I hate to sound insensitive, but if someone dies of alcoholism, or, you know, your liver fails, it's, if you want to never pick up a drink again because it killed somebody else, and I'm trying not to be insensitive, that's your choice. And I get it. Makes a lot of sense. God forbid a child get killed by a drunk driver and never want to drink again. You want to, like, I get it, right? I get it. I truly do. But at the end of the day, you're going to beg to differ. Spirit did not take this person's life. It wasn't spirit like that. It was the addiction that took this person's life. You know? So I kind of feel bad even saying it like that. But this is why we're here. We're here to debate. You know? And I'm sorry that happened to him and you, and it's, you know, but like at the end of the day, that doesn't have to do with spirit. Blocked it. Too smart for that. Night Sky, fucking stay. If you want to be an asshole, I will personally block you myself. I don't know why you think you're fucking cute. So you can choose to stay and be kosher, or make sure you're really fucking gone. There's nothing cute about your sarcasm as if you outsmarted us. I never blocked you. I blocked comments and emails. So keep it going. See how far you get. I never blocked you. Dear Lord. So, anywho, but again, yeah, that's true too. Like someone who smoked, why there's no issues, one person. Yeah, my uncle died at a very young age because of secondhand smoke. And I also had my Nana who lived to be almost 100 and smoked a pack of cigarettes every day. It really just depends on what takes you out at the end of the day, right? So, regardless of that, again, I'm not trying to be insensitive to this person. She's been on the channel for a very long time. And I could understand why you would look at spirits taking him, right? But it's, the spirits didn't take him. His own addiction got the best of him. You know? That's like, and I'm not saying you're making excuses though, but that's like people who like, there's certain people when children pass away from like drug addiction, and this is a sensitive topic, but like they want to blame other people, or they want to like blame themselves for not seeing it, or blame other people for the ones who supplied the drugs, like certain stuff. Like at the end of the day, like that person still chose, they made a conscious choice. And if they didn't, they made a conscious choice afterwards. At some point in addiction, you're making a conscious choice. So whether the first one is because you're all fucked up over something, there's another point, there's another part that, there's another time where you will be conscious to make that decision again. And you still chose to do it because you chose that feeling versus what you wanted to feel what you should have dealt with, but you didn't, and you chose drugs. And so I don't know why this just came into like conversation. So I think it's like people want to make excuses, or people want to use something else to replace their own hurt or something. But like, you're just attaching other people's karma to yours too. I don't know why Spirit brought that into the conversation. I'm a little disturbed by that coming into the conversation because I don't really know where to go with that. But I guess what they're trying to tell me is like you see it plenty of times. Like there's not too many people that, you know, that are like he or she made their own choice, and it's unfortunate. You know, they always want to attach something to it. The wrong company, she was hanging out with the wrong person, or you know what I mean? And it's like at the end of the day, we got to stop doing that. I guess that's where we're going with this. It's a shitty fucking example though. Like at one point, somebody makes a conscious decision. You don't just, it's facts. And it's typically multiple conscious decisions. You either choose to ride the wave or you don't. You choose to do that drug or you don't. Like there is always a conscious choice. Unless you were like tied down and injected with stuff because you're dealing with a whole nother scenario. But I'm not talking about those scenarios. I'm talking about like before you choose anything addictive, somewhere in your brain absolutely tells you, you know, you shouldn't be doing this. Like when I picked up my first cigarette, I know I shouldn't be doing this. You know, like multiple times, like, and I know how drugs can take over so quickly. So quickly. It's so unfortunate. But I'm also being told there is a couple choices that are made, conscious choices, and you still chose that instead of dealing with the bottom line or the real issue. And it sucks that we have outlets like that in today's world, but I mean, they're not going anywhere. You know? Even if you wanted the experience, I don't know why, like with certain stuff, but we're talking about like drugs that kill people, so I don't know how many people would really want that experience. But when it comes to like liquor and cigarettes and that type of stuff, like, yeah, I get it, you know. But it's tough. It's tough. Do you remember the movie Days of Wine and Roses? No. Yeah. You can get, same thing, addicted to painkillers. And I know it sucks because you're in pain, but then it is, like, I'm telling you, like, I get it. I just don't think it should be linked to spirituality. In regards to the alcohol. I don't know why the whole drug thing came in. I think that has to do with everyone makes a couple conscious choices and they still decide to do it. So I mean, I don't want to speak for anybody who's lost a child. It's horrific. You know, Spirit's like, yeah, you can though. But like, I just feel like it's not my place. You know? But there's always conscious choices to be made, and, you know, I think sugar is almost like a drug when it comes to channeling and certain stuff, more than nicotine, more than other things, you know? But people would just want to blame it on the addictive things. They don't look at sugar as being addictive. It's very addictive. Bodies crave it, you know? And some people will won't even drink coffee because they're spiritual and they think it's bad for them, but actually black coffee and white coffee it's actually really good for you. You know, so I mean, there's so many, we can go back and forth so many damn things, but sugars for sure can block channeling more than alcohol can. You got a better chance of connecting to spirit through alcohol than you do with sugar. Sugar leaves you in that slum. That, you know. So again, I don't know why that children thing came in. It's really bothering me. Again, I think it's just about the conscious choice. Like any other addiction. You know, and I can't talk, I haven't lost a child. Like, I can't talk for like why parents make excuses or go this way or go that way or not make excuses, and like, because you don't want it to happen. You'd never want it to happen, right? But I think the bottom line is it's the conscious choice. Like, if I crack a beer, I'm consciously aware that I'm cracking a beer, and there's a good chance I can catch a buzz. And typically when I drink, I drink to catch a buzz. I don't drink just because I'm like, oh, I think I want a beer. No, I usually drink to catch a buzz. But I'm certainly not trying to channel or connect to fucking spirit when I'm trying to catch a buzz either. You can. I don't really choose to. Or sometimes I have, if it's me, myself, and I, and it doesn't include you guys. That's a whole nother ball game. So I can argue with you on that one. Like, addiction, you're saying addiction is not a choice? Addiction is very much a choice. Even if you came into this world and that's what you had to battle, that's your karma. It's a choice. So you're saying consciously the first time. It is a controversial topic, that's for sure. Well, science can debate a lot of stuff, and science can back up what I have to say too, so that can go both ways. Huh? You meowing? But that first time, because it's basically saying, yeah, the first time consciously, right? Like, you're making that choice, but afterwards you're not making a choice. No, you still are. You're chemically imbalanced, and that's why science can back it up. But you're in control of your chemical imbalance. So if you choose to take antidepressants, you choose to do drugs, you choose to do this, yada, 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 so forth and so forth, that is going to alter your limbic system. That's on you. It's backed up through science that way too. You can clear it. You can clear that system. All those systems linked to addiction can be cleared. And science backs that up. And it is a very controversial topic. And I know I'm getting a little bent out of shape, but that's okay. I'm sure plenty of people are here too. It is one of those topics. But I've also studied the brain. So I do understand how science backs that up. But you can clear the same gateways, clear addictions, and science backs that up. And if you didn't want to debate it, I don't know why you bothered to bring it up. I studied the brain. I know you can clear it. Any addiction can be overcome. It takes over, but not to the point where you can't clear it. So it's not just about the first or second conscious choice. It's their brain telling them they need it. that can be cleared. And it's okay to debate this. This is why we're here. So, I get it, like, but addiction is a choice. So you're saying basically it's acceptable that people make that first choice, but the next couple choices, like, at that point, it's out of their hands? It's never out of your hands. Never. No matter how deep you are, there is help. It is a choice. And I know science can back it up that way in the sense of what you're saying because of where it's reaching within the brain region. But the science I have to reset all those functions are backed up scientifically too. So what do you do when science backs up both theories? Agree to disagree? But I think, like, people need to stop agreeing to disagree. You disrespect me, you don't know shit I don't bring. Well, I don't know how I'm disrespecting you with the topics that we're talking about. Maybe you shouldn't be on this channel right now. I don't know what to tell you. And if I didn't know shit, I wouldn't be able to talk about all this shit. So what is it you would like to debate instead of just getting defenseful right off the rip? Because if I'm saying something out of text, please tell me. Yeah, first time I've seen her here too, which is fine. Could be trolls, all sorts of stuff. Just giving you the benefit of the doubt. I know things about addiction, so this is going to insult some people. Have I experienced certain parts of addiction? No, but I've also had best friends that were heroin addicts and cleaned themselves up and got clean and this and that. So, like, science backs up what I'm saying too. So if you can't, like, agree to disagree, there's no point in getting nasty. Hey, bud. Hey, girl. I know enough about addiction in the sense of speaking on it with certain stuff. And friends and family members. I've seen it, been there. But when it comes to drugs, no, I've never had that addiction. But that doesn't mean I can't sit here and debate what people want to talk about either. You're not going to put me in that category. You can't talk about something because you've never been in that person's shoes. It doesn't work that way. Do you guys have more knowledge through experiences? Probably, but that doesn't make the other person less factual and educated on something. Because I could be an addiction counselor and just as educated and have the knowledge that you have. I'm just saying. Okay, so you're not addicted to Adderall years ago, super skinny because you got left in the dust. But that still boils down to, like, other stuff. So if you want to talk about that in, like, a certain way without getting bent out of shape. So you're saying the Adderall you had to take made you lose a lot of weight, and then from there you felt like you just got left in the dust. But see, like, that boils from, like, that's other stuff you need to work on, like self-esteem. And please don't get upset with me and so worth in certain stuff. Like, please don't get upset. Like, I've gone through stuff like this. All of us, when we go through certain spiritual awakenings, we experience feeling left out or lonely or not good enough or self-conscious. You know? But you got all these people like coming on, like a lot of people are starting to talk now, but like in the sense of like, and flat lie to embarrass me, sick of twist triggers, stay clueless. But I'm losing you because this is kind of talking about other stuff now though, so I'm trying to figure out like what you're asking. Yeah, I don't want everybody to like get caught up in this. I mean, this is why we're here to debate. So just come at me a certain way, like I'll come at you a certain way, but not like in a mean way. You know, I'm just saying I have knowledge on stuff. You have knowledge on stuff. We're here to debate. We're here to talk about things. We're here to make things better and improve things and get other people's point of view and other people's opinions and why they felt this way and why it got here. But it still boils down to everything like I was saying. Like there was something there before like that kicked in and then something became an addiction. Like I'm not gonna change like that point of view. So I guess I'm just kind of curious on your point of view. Like, did you get addicted to like certain stuff? Like the person who mentioned Adderall, I haven't seen you comments again. You, cancel culture. What do you mean by cancel culture? Because you said flatline embarrassed me, sick of the twist with the trigger, stay clueless. Debates are going to trigger people. Yeah, and if you're going to get nasty, then those people just need to like click off. Yeah, I get it. But I knew that there's no way like we could have this type of debate and some people aren't gonna get really defenseful. Like that's one thing, but like a couple people kind of got nasty, and then when I made a couple comments about consciously and how science can back up something else too, they clicked right off too, because people don't want to hear that either, because they think their excuses or reasons when it comes to certain stuff is acceptable. But, and I know that sounds harsh too, but at the end of the day, you know, her science can back it up when it comes to something, but I also know the science that I researched can reset all those functions. So you're really not, at the end of the day, that addiction doesn't have you like that. It boils down to way more than the addiction. And that's the root of the problem that you have to work on and work with to clear that addiction. You know? Oh, you try to project Courtney because you sniff her ass. LMNO. Fucking joke. Try. Nice try, Shannon. Doesn't bother anyone. Can be meaner. Alright, well, that's your last strike. So if you're just going to be nasty, we're just going to block you. Because there's no point of that. Before you just got done saying you didn't have to get nasty about things, and then, you know, she puts it in public, but then don't like when people comment. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? We read your comments. All you said is you're not addicted to Adderall years ago, super skinny because because you got left in the dust. Were you not addicted to Adderall? I was never addicted to Adderall, so you act like you know me. And I have a pretty funny feeling of who you are, so we can probably just block that too. Never addicted to Adderall, ever. Have I ever taken Adderall? Yes. Did it actually work for me? Yes. I got nothing to fucking hide. So we can just block her because I have a funny feeling that's probably my ex-husband's girlfriend. That's in her jealous fucking mode. And that's all she can come at me with. Never had an addiction of Adderall. I'm telling you, like, some people, guys, I didn't even know she was referencing me at first. I felt bad for her, thinking like she got left behind because she was like super skinny. And I was actually going to tell her the story of like when I was on Adderall, but it was working, but it made me super skinny. Like, I was actually just about to fucking relate to that fucking chick and tell her to like hang in there with certain stuff. And then I realized she was trying to fucking talk shit about me. Coming from the fucking drug addict. So I'm just gonna shut my fucking mouth right now. Holy shit. You can't make this shit up. She'll just come in with another one and another one because her other ones were blocked. It is what it is. When we figure out it's her, then we'll block that one too. I'm telling you. It's like, seriously. Like, and like, she had to have made that up because my ex-husband would have never said that. And oh, that's all you got on me is I got wicked skinny because I took Adderall? The fuck? I didn't take Adderall to get wicked fucking skinny. I was about to like feel bad for this girl and be like, oh my God, I went through the same thing. That's why I was actually talking to her. And I was like, well, where did she go? You can't, like, fucking people, man. I'm telling ya. Can't make this shit up. It took me a minute to figure out what she was talking about. Coming from a drug addict. I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut though for my kids' sake. Oh, I actually felt bad for her for a minute. Until I figured out who it was. Because nobody else would know I take Adderall. I took Adderall. I take Adderall. And once in a while, I still take Adderall. My doctor yells at me and is like, Courtney, you got a prescribed Adderall, but you don't take it every day. And like once every 3 or 4 months, you will get a refill. And so what's going on? I'm like, well, I don't take it all the time. Like if I forget to take it, I don't take it. They're like, well, but I do realize the days I do take it, I do focus better. You know? But it actually works for me. Like it does, you know how it doesn't work for some people and then it works for other people? Like Adderall works for me. Like I've had this whole conversation with Spirit. Like I shouldn't take it. I felt like I couldn't connect. It's funny we're having this conversation now because like feeling like you can't connect with alcohol and certain stuff. But like I know I still can connect. Like I did a thorough, I wouldn't say examination, but speaking with Spirit like multiple times when it comes to like certain stuff. Like when I take it, I benefit from it. You know what I mean? But my doctor is right. I shouldn't even bother taking it here and there. It is something you're supposed to take consistently. Yeah, I can't believe I felt bad for her for a minute thinking like, I'm like, oh my God, I experienced the same thing, but I wasn't addicted to Adderall. That's why I was trying to figure out like, were you addicted to Adderall and lost weight? Like, oh dear Lord. It did nothing for you. Yeah, no. I remember having a conversation with my sister You know what they tried prescribing first? And because they had said, like, my whole life, my mother was trying to figure out, put me on something, and I wouldn't. And I was on the phone with my sister, and I was kind of freaking out because I had never put, I think I've told this story with you guys before. I had never put certain stuff into my system. And I'm like, I'm going to take it. I think it was Ritalin. I think it was Ritalin is what they tried to give me first. And she's like, well, you can't take it now. You're just going to freak out because it's in your head that something's going to go wrong and yada, yada, yada. And it did nothing for me. I tried it for like a week, and I'm like, well, this does nothing there's absolutely no point in like taking this route. And then when I actually tried Adderall, it actually worked really, really well. For me, you know. When I needed it, absolutely. But my doctor does say, like, you're supposed to take it every day, and I don't. Maybe like once a week. It's only on days like I sometimes remember. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll take an Adderall. Like, it's the craziest. Like, I shouldn't even take it. Like, I don't need it anymore in the sense of like needing to focus. But if I have a busy day, like when I was studying the brain, I think I was taking it like every day for a couple months, and it really helped me focus. I mean, you guys, you know me, I'm all over the place. I could be all over the place with fucking Adderall. I'm working for Spirit. Yeah, no, weight loss is not a thing with me with weight loss. When I first started taking it, they don't prescribe that for weight loss, do they? I don't think that's good if they do that. It's for your brain. In the beginning, I lost a lot of weight. That's what made me like go back and forth. But I was like, also like a little malnutrition, malnourished, things like that, like other stuff going on. So I think it was like after the divorce, like certain stuff. You know, it does help what like it did. I don't want to say it does help with my energy because I know different ways of like getting like the right type of energy now, but like it's something that worked for me, and I know people do abuse it, but if I was abusing it, I wouldn't weigh 160 pounds. I'd be at my goal weight of like 135. You know? That's abusing Adderall. And I didn't even like when I was like skinny mini like that. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't attractive to me. Like that's not attractive to me. You know? So apparently people must think it's really attractive to be really thin. I was on YouTube then. I was on YouTube with you guys. No, after the Red Cross. I was thin, but not like really thin. But I was thin. There's absolutely no quick fix. Yeah. So now like different things, like I get my energy different ways. You know what I mean? It's not just through coffee. It's like eating right, greens, mud water, certain stuff. It's that type of stuff, right? But the Adderall does work for me when it comes down to focus or studying. Like, it's great. I've had ADD, my whole entire life. Bouncing off the wall. Like, probably one of the reasons why I couldn't fucking deal with fucking school. Learning different ways and then giving me shit for learning different ways. I mean, there's so many different things. Like, it actually works for me because that's what it targets. But I do know there is plenty of people that abuse it. Oh, you got an Adderall? I want to pop an Adderall. I never did that. I never brought them out and about. I didn't share it. And it actually is literally the only drug I've ever done, like prescription drug, except for that one time that I tried an antidepressant after the baby, and I was like, that was the worst thing I ever did. I was out for weeks. I remember Danny would come home and I was like in la la land, I can't do this anymore. But it's the baby blues, you know? So what they thought the best idea would give me an antidepressant, which I think was like the worst idea. So that's literally the only prescription drug I've ever taken. And I got no problem talking about it. I didn't know it would be something to be ashamed of. You know? And if I was on an antidepressant, I would tell you like I was on an antidepressant. It'd probably be the worst thing for me, and I gotta wean myself off. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just, I'm telling you. But I was just about to relate to her. I'm like, let me help you. She can fucking help herself. There's so much shit I could fucking run my mouth with right now. She's got a fucking nerve. She's got a nerve. But anywho. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I just went for my physical, and he's like, do you even have any at home? I was like, yeah, I haven't taken it in months and months. Some days I'm like, But I feel like it's just like when certain things, and like I said, when I'm studying or need focus, time and place for it, you know what I mean? But I didn't get another prescription because he's been telling me for years. I've always taken it off and on, and I guess you're not supposed to do that. Like, it's not good. Like, you either take it or you don't. It shouldn't be one of those things like you just do like when you need to study, which is actually a prime example of like what college students and stuff do. So I get it. It makes sense. Stimulates you, keeps you awake. It gives you energy. Like, it would do the opposite. Like, if you're not, from what I'm told, if you don't have ADD or any of that, like, if you actually take it, it does like the complete opposite. Like, I'm pretty sure you can probably get a high off of it. I mean, I'm assuming if you like sniff it, because I know people go to like that degree. But like, for people who actually need it, we don't get the same effects as what you guys feel, because it's targeting the right part of our brain. So it's working. So I wouldn't know what it's like. I wouldn't know what you guys feel. You know what I mean? I'm assuming it's like a high for you guys, or like a speed. It's something like that. But those who haven't, it actually targets what needs to target. We don't have those side effects. Like, we don't get high, if that makes sense. Like, we're still the same person. We're not high. We're not low. We're focused. You know? And again, I don't take other medications, so mine really had nothing to like any side effects in regards to that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't get that feeling if I take an Adderall in the morning. And mine was like the smallest dose. I think it was the highest I got was 15. Because it was almost like for 5 years off and on. And I was only consistent maybe for like 1 year. And even the doctor would be like, oh, because they'd give me shit for years about not taking it consistently, but we never stopped it. And then he's like, you don't want to go any higher? And I was like, no, it still works. It works because I don't abuse it. That's why it still works at a low dose. And it is low. I don't know what the highest is, but it's low. I know I started at 10, I think, 5 or 10. I only went to 15. And then within the last year, there was like a shortage of Adderall or something, and they weren't making it. And the pharmacy only had a 20. And I took it, and I was like, whoa, nope. And he's like, all right, cut it in half. and I went back to 10, and the 15 worked better, but I couldn't get a 15. So I cut all the 20s in half, because I can. It's not, I didn't do the one where it, the one I have is gone in like 4 hours. It stays for 4 hours. There's one that like keeps coming out throughout the day. I couldn't even imagine. Like a time released or something. And I just took it back in the morning. And when I first, I couldn't sleep for nothing. And then I realized like something might be trouble when the doctor said, "Do you want like a sleeping medicine?" And I was like, "Oh, hell no." Like I was grinding my teeth. I was like, this isn't working. It's too high. And I even these days, majority of like why I really don't take it anymore, because I really enjoy my coffee. And if I was to do Adderall and coffee together, like I would grind my teeth. There's too much of a stimulant in my body. Yeah, time release for me, 30 mgs. Yeah, see, I don't. So what is that, like release like 3 times and then you can still fall asleep? I would just take it once in the morning, and that was it. If I took anything after 12 o'clock, I'd be up all night. You know, so I don't. Yeah, your body just might, it just, I guess, adjusts, right? Is there a natural product to take place? I think so. I've read certain stuff, like mud water. A lot of people would do mud water instead of coffee. I guess some people like would do Adderall. That would supplement it. There is stuff they make now that can like replace that. I haven't tried it, but again, I haven't taken the Adderall in a while either. So but if like there was a certain job, like if I had a like behind the desk job and computers and that type of stuff, like my brain would need it. It just would. You know, I wouldn't be able to focus. So it doesn't ever really feel like speed for me. You know, it's something like I don't get a high off of it. And I wouldn't want to smoke weed at night to fall asleep. Like I wouldn't want to try to counteract it either. But again, like I'd say by noon, 1 o'clock, like I'm not feeling it anymore. Like I'm yawning again at 10 o'clock when I was taking it. So, you know, like I said, I only was taking it to focus and with certain stuff, and it actually really worked well for me. But mud water is just like, it's kind of like a coffee replacement. It's a whole bunch of mushrooms. I like the good healthy mushrooms. But it wasn't like, okay, I'm spiritual and I'm going to stop Adderall and it's interfering with this and that. And no. Because with some people, it absolutely could affect certain routes and certain stuff. But everybody's body is different. It really depends on like where your hormones at, your like limbic system, all that, like all your certain, it matters. You gotta take all that into equation. Like you can't take an Adderall and be like, oh, I'm gonna fall back into balance. It just doesn't work like that. And there was times over years that I would still check in with spirit and make sure like, still okay taking this once in a while? Like I don't want to fuck anything up. I'm very cautious of what I put into my body. Very cautious. They call it indica. You didn't like your psychologist, so you stopped taking Adderall. What? But I thought Adderall was just for like people who just need to like focus and like take it down a notch, for those that are like bing, 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 like all over the place. From what I'm getting from different people, it sounds like you can take Adderall for different reasons. Is that true? I was just gonna Google it, but I'm on my phone. What are the different reasons? What else do they use it for? If you don't mind me asking, unless it's like too personal and you weren't taking it for ADD. And the majority of the time, ADD, ADHD, it's other things like that too. Depression. Adderall for depression? That's interesting. Did it work? It must target, but it clearly targets a different part of your brain. I didn't know that. I mean, clearly it targets a different part of your brain. It makes me wonder, like, I feel like I should be, like, researching this. Somebody knew was bipolar that took it. Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting. I could see how, yes, prescribed. I could see how it could actually help with depression. I'm not saying it's the best route, but I feel like it'd be better than an antidepressive. You know? I mean, I do feel like it'd be better than an antidepressive, but like, I just didn't know they did that. I mean, spirit saying it's definitely better than like an antidepressant. I just assumed it was for like one thing. But like, if it can target so many different areas, I don't know how safe it would be for like anybody at this point, now that I'm thinking about it. Like, not to sound like an asshole, but like with me studying the brain and stuff and knowing that it's targeting then more than just that one area, then you have ADD as well. I wonder if it's because it's all incorporated. I don't know. But no, like Spirit saying like it definitely does target other areas. I wonder if it just goes to that one area that's needed though. That's interesting. I don't know. I tried like not to look into like so many things. And I know that's like really what you shouldn't do when you're putting like certain stuff into your body. But like the fact that I was attempting the Ritalin and it just didn't work, like I just like freaked out. Like I really don't, let's just try it. I've been hearing my whole entire life of, 30 plus years that I should be on friggin', it might work for me and yada, yada, yada. And there was multiple things like going on in my life. And it did actually work really well for me. I wonder if it helps. like if I was depressed. Like I'm like, I can't really remember like if I was depressed like after the divorce, this and that, but I guarantee like I probably was. Like a lot of shit went down, but not enough where like I couldn't get out of bed and function. It's just so much disappointing stuff going on all at once, and how shit went down was just pretty fucking shitty, you know? So it is a very mellow conversation right now. I'm like, but now I'm like, I need to study, like, now I want to know where, like, it's, like, it hits and stuff. You know what I mean? There's, like, barely anyone on this one anymore, so let me get off this. I want to start Googling real quick. Love you guys. So let me Google. Let me Google real quick. I wonder if it's because you had depression and ADD? Like its main target? But it like, for anxiety, depression, can't imagine sleep. Attention deficit disorder, which is the main use. Or to treat narcolepsy. First choice treatment for ADD, Adderall XR. What is that, Adderall XR? Show that drugs improve attention and focus in certain behaviors. So I guess it really is targeted for like different things. I'm just wondering, like, is it targeting one thing or multiple things? I just wouldn't want it to target multiple things, because then it can throw like a lot of things off. Or if it only targets what needs to be targeted, like, is it a smart enough drug to target only what it needs to be targeted? I'm assuming it is, but you know what happens when you fucking assume. And maybe it stopped working for me, or I didn't feel like it was working for me. Like, maybe because I didn't go higher in dose. Like, I don't know. I just didn't feel like I needed it anymore. But like, I don't need it like with my job. Like, I noticed like after a while, I was really, more or less, when I did take it, is because I was like really tired. It was kind of more of like a pick-me-up, and then I just found other ways to do that. So I'm not like addicted to it. You know what I mean? Like, I can stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. I don't really have an addictive personality. I don't know if that's like such a thing when it comes to like, if it all correlates. But it helps with cognitive therapy programs, grief, loss therapy, depression treatment, holistic therapy, PTSD. No, that's more like side effects. Yeah, I was gonna say, those don't sound like... Well, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. You're gonna hit the side effects, right? But like, I'm the type, like, after surgeries and certain stuff, like, I didn't even take like certain drugs, like I'm allergic to morphine. What did they always prescribe me? I'd get really nauseous. And then I found one that somewhat worked. Oh, tramadol. It's in the category of addictive, but it's not as high as like a narcotic. But I get super paranoid putting anything into my system that could be addictive. And again, like, you think I would be with like alcohol or something. I'm not, because I know I'm not going to get addicted to alcohol. You know, like, I don't use it as a vessel. I don't use drugs and certain stuff as vessels. So like, there's just a difference there. I mean, is that what people think before they do it and then they get addicted? Maybe. But I mean, I know my body pretty well in the life that I want to lead. And it doesn't have time, anything to like slow me. I don't have time to have anything like slow me down like that, you know. Tramadol makes you nervous. No, it's like literally the only thing that works for me that doesn't make me nauseous and like to the point where I can get paranoid because I'm putting like a drug into my system. The only reason I was ever comfortable with Adderall is because it actually fucking did its job. Like, I feel like I could be an advocate for Adderall. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, for those who actually need it, it works. But that's for me. Like, some other people take Ritalin and other things because Adderall doesn't work for them. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, for me, it actually did its job and I didn't have side effects. And I didn't get addicted to it. And in the beginning, I had side effects trying to figure out, like, eating and getting too skinny. And that's because I was, you know, when you start taking Adderall, you're going to lose weight. It's a given. I know people have taken it for weight loss, like a quick weight loss. I could see why it would work. I just wouldn't think, like, they would give you that to lose weight. But I could be wrong. So, like, that's just my opinion because I know it worked for me. But, like, everybody's brain is different. Everybody's chemical balances and hormone, everything, right, is where it's at. It's not the same for everybody. So, like, not everybody is going to get the positive outcome that I got with it. Like, it literally worked for me. Like, would I say, oh, like, if my kids, like, maybe I should do that? Probably, no, I'd be probably really, really hesitant. But, like, at the same time, like, if they, see, I don't know, like, why would you need it? But now, like, I'm trying to think back, like, why did I need it? Like, I know it was for, like, the ADD, but I'm trying to think, like, was I depressed? Was I having a hard time? Like, I'm trying to think, like, why the doctors decided, let's try this. Besides, like, all the years of, like, them wanting to do it. And I always said no. Always. And I think it was for focus, but in the sense of, like, you know, I could have been, like, because I'm just trying to think if it was that many years ago, 6 years ago. It was probably, like, having a hard time getting out of bed, taking care of 4 kids, shitty situation going on with the dad. Yeah, you know what I mean? It was, like, one of those situations. So that's probably when I agreed to actually do it. Because it wasn't for work in the sense of, like, I'm going to work and this is my day-to-day job and I needed to focus because I'm all over the place. But, like, I was always all over the place. You know, so I think that's why the doctor probably mentioned it again. Like, hey, like, this is that one thing that I might actually work for you. And it did. I'm telling you, when I was studying the brain too, like, certain days I was like, I forgot how well this worked for me. But if somebody had a job like that, then yeah, it's a good thing. It gets me, like, right on point where I need to be. I can still, like, play mom and multi, you know, task and do all that, but, like, thankful for, like, certain things like that. You wouldn't think you would be, but when you find something that, like, works for you and you feel like you can, like, learn and think and absorb and, like, it's like a fucked up blessing, if that makes sense. But again, because it worked for me, you know what I mean? There's a big difference there. Like, I don't think, like, it works for everybody like that, or, like, I don't know what I'm really trying to say, but it really worked for me. Oh, the XR is extended. Oh, yeah. My body couldn't handle that. But again, I didn't really have to look into, like, all the different stuff either, because I don't take any of the prescriptions where it interferes. Like, I take, like, my iron pill and my acid reflux one, but that doesn't interfere with that. Ultimately, it'd be nice though, like, we gotta stop with, like, the everyday like certain stuff. I know people in the family and friends that will literally take like an antidepressant every day, will literally take like a anxiety pill, and it's like the only thing that gets them through the day, but it just sucks. It's tough. It's a tough scenario. You find yourself in those scenarios, you know, because I just know like those type of blockages, they're hard to, it's almost like an addiction. It's a blockage that you gotta, because you're fighting against, you're taking something that's blocking the part that you need to unblock, you know, so it's tough. I forget what I take. It's not Prozac, it's Propanzadol, something like that. I don't know. And it's not even because I get like heartburn, it's just because I have that hernia in my esophagus. I didn't even know I had it. It was the only thing saving my esophagus. Because of like the GERD and the celiacs and all that when I went for that colonoscopy. Like, I'd have holes in my fucking throat right now if that hernia wasn't there blocking the acid from coming up. So I knew I had to stay on that for a couple years to absorb it. It's right around that time. I haven't actually been to the gastroenterologist in years. I keep saying that, like, because I don't like taking that either. But I knew I had to take that one because there was too much acid buildup. Eating away at my fucking intestines and shit, so. But the hernia actually saved my esophagus, my throat. So thankful for that too. But anywho, it's been quite the conversation. I like Pepsid every once in a while. I used to take it like if I actually like certain stuff. But I know like I would wake up and my coffee wouldn't give me heartburn. But like if I don't take that, actually, there is some things like I'll eat and I'll know right off the rip. I'm like, ugh. Like so in a way, it's like I almost still need it, but I know I don't want to stay on something like that for the rest of my life. But I mean, I might have to. It is what it is. What's a benzo? I hear people talking about them. I'm not that familiar with drugs, guys. But I hear like somebody be like, oh, popped a benzo and he's losing his shit. You know what I mean? Valium. Oh, okay. Yeah, I have a prescription of those. But I probably take one once a year, if that. But that's for like my anxiety if like I'm having like a panic attack. And that's like only when I'm usually about to get on a plane. That's the only time I take them. But that's what I was talking about. Those are those things that some people take every day to keep their anxiety at a certain level. Like, see, I don't want to, yeah. That's the only way some people can function. You know? That's why a lot of people are where they are. Even though knowing better is not the way to do it, but it's what you do because it works. So I get it. It's definitely a hard scenario. Yeah, I just take it in an emergency. I just take it like literally when I'm about to fly. And I don't take it like before I get to the airport. I let the anxiety like build up, not because I want to, but like I always get paranoid. Like if I look fucked up or it knocks me out, like I want to still get on the plane. Right? So I take it like 5 minutes before we take off. Like, as soon as they're, like, calling Rose, I'll take it. It gives just enough time to, like, kind of, like, kick in before we take off, because it still takes, like, 20 minutes to a half hour before, you know, you take off. But, yeah, every once in a while, like for, like, anxiety or certain stuff, or, yeah. Or for, like, I remember taking it, like, at certain times being, like, I just want to sleep. Like, really stressed out, anxiety. But very, very few and far in between have I ever done that. Again, I'm very careful about what I put into my body. I'm just conscious of it, and it's not because I've had a certain experience or a bad experience. Like, I get paranoid putting things into my body. That's probably why, you know? I get freaked out, and it's not because I know it's, like, bad for this or bad for that. Like, that's not even, like, where my brain goes. It's more of, like, a paranoia. I think it's a paranoia of addiction, to be quite honest with you. Like, but it probably has a lot to do with, like, a lot of things that I've gone through. You know what I mean? When it comes to, like, certain stuff, and just, I know where it probably stems from. But, like, so I always kind of had that paranoia that I could get addicted to things easily. So I stayed away from anything. Like, it was instilled in my brain. Like, even taking a prescription drug could be, you know what I mean? I guess that paranoia kept me clean, I guess. I don't know. You know, no. But I'm always like, fuck that. Like, ever since, like, a young age, like, or if, like, I had a kid or whatever it was, young age, you know what I mean? Like, this can be addictive, careful taking it. And it always kind of freaked me out. So I was like, I don't even want it. Are you kidding me? I don't even want it then. So my brain, my own thoughts have always rejected it. I don't know if it's a past life thing or it's just a kid thing. I don't know. But I'm thankful. I'm thankful for that paranoia, I guess. Because I've been all types of fucked up off and on my whole life. Could have went certain routes. You know? I'm telling you. 22, at least twos. Bringing things into balance. Well, I'm glad this conversation settled down a little bit. We went from talking about alcohol and spirits and drugs and addictions, and then people getting bent out of shape, and then people butting in, and then now we're talking about prescription drugs. And we all know better. Which I still think, like, I know it sounds crazy to say, but, like, I still feel like a prescribed drug is still better than, like, an addiction, even though you can get addicted to, like, certain things. But, like, we're not talking painkillers and certain stuff here. Like, you know what I mean? We're talking, like, big difference from addictions. But prescription drugs, I'm telling you, just as much fucking damage, just in a whole nother realm of your brain. Doesn't even matter. One's not better than the other. Well, yeah, one's better. Okay. You know where I'm going with that. But I'm never going to judge anybody for taking something they feel they need to take, because we're all very conscious that we know we shouldn't be taking any of that stuff. So eventually we'll make our own decisions on whether or not we want to continue to take something or wean ourselves off a cold turkey. You know, they say you can't go to cold turkey, but there's sometimes you're best to go cold turkey depending on the scenario. You know, so I've also known people that were like, oh, let's try this one. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try another one. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try another one. Next thing you know, someone's trying to commit suicide. So I do have, you know, we all know we shouldn't be, we all know what it does. But I also know what it's like to get by day to day and do what you gotta do, and, you know. So eventually, you guys will make a conscious decision, whoever wants to clear that, you know what I mean? And some people just do better with them, and it is what it is. No judgment. No judgment there. As long as it's not being abused and it's working and you found the proper balance. But you are able to find the balance without all of that, you know? And I only know that from studying the brain. But it's so hard to get there because why we started taking it in the first place, you know? So yeah, I've had new moons that keep me up too, and it's the opposite of a full moon. Yeah, I've experienced that plenty of times. Yeah, I heard about the black charcoal too. Yeah, there's other stuff. Like I do have other supplements. I can stop taking the iron supplement. There's just certain stuff I needed to boost certain stuff to where it needed to be, so I can then take the better supplements that my body would do much better with. But I was so low with certain stuff, like I had to. Nothing natural right off if I took a natural route for the 50,000 units for certain stuff of vitamin B12, and it would have took too long, I would have got really sick. But now that I'm getting, I was trying to get that nod earlier. Now that I'm getting better, I found like the right type of supplements. You know what I mean? So yeah, key's always within us. What?
Yeah, where the bullet?
Bottom jaw, second jaw down actually. Straight ahead.
That?
No, black.
Lower.
Stackable thing, whatever that thing is, second drawer. Spoons are in there too.
Well,
I'll get to a certain point where your conscious will make the higher conscious will start making those decisions for you. That's all I came across when I was cleaning it out.
Okay.
I'll have to get more. So, I really just wanted to keep this video contained to one topic, but that didn't happen. Spiritual debate. I mean, we can debate this too. We can debate this too. Always gonna be haters. Always gonna be someone coming around trying to cause some fucking storm in somebody's life because they're fucking bitter, right? It is what it is. It is what it is. You know? So. I love you guys. I gotta work tomorrow. I just had a nice 5 days off. It's really nice. It's really nice. Love you. But I do want to get to the meditation video. So tomorrow after dinner, I'll probably come on and do that. I want to read from the book. I did an excellent control of emotions. Oh, good. Oh, good. Because when that lady said, it's not a choice, I was like, yeah, no, that's a choice. Certain topics are just, it is what it is, you know? But again, I'm willing to debate with people when it comes certain stuff. So it's, you know, We all have an opinion and certain things. I wouldn't do these debates if I didn't think it'd be like controversial or certain stuff, you know? So it's tough debating because some people are very opinionated, you know? But like she says, she's got certain science that backs up that. I got certain science that backs it up too. So it's hard when you have science that backs up both sides of the fucking story. So it's really pick and choose what you think is best for you at the end of the day. You know? That's funny. Quote, I put on some dark pink red lipstick. Went to the grocery store on Saturday with my hair out and curly, which I normally don't do. It was great exercise. So I've been told. Oh, with that one, yeah. No, that's great. I'm glad you did that. I did that too. When I went to the store that day, I was like, great. Great. Oh, and then it was like even more of a fucking scene because that was the same day where I was swiping the fucking debit card and they took it like 3 fucking times. Yeah, I was like, this is fucking great. Great. Perfect fucking timing. This would happen. You know? But I'm glad you stepped outside your comfort zone. Me too. Me too. All right, y'all. I love you. I hope you guys have a great night. I feel like we were talking a lot longer than just an hour and a half. Holy shit. It just feels like so much longer. Yeah, I hope you guys have a good night. And you all did a good job controlling your opinions and emotions too. You know? That other scenario, like if that's what it was, it is what it is there. You know what I mean? Like, no point feeding into that. But I think everybody did a good job as well. I'm sure like this is just like the beginning of like more to come. Because I don't think we can probably always keep our composure as well as we did tonight when it comes to certain stuff. You know? So, well, we'll see. We'll see as the conversations get heavier and deeper and more people want to chime in with opinions and, you know, purposely piss us off. That's a whole different, you know. It can only get, you know where I'm going with that. So we shall see. So yeah, high five to everybody because we did a really good job tonight keeping our composure. We did. We did good. So. Fucking A. And then all the other Matrix shit, like, can people just go away and get over their fucking shit? Like, just get over shit and move the fuck on. You know? Fuck, man. I'm telling ya. I love you guys. All right. Mia was just texting me. I love you guys. I will see you within the next couple days. Love you too. Good night, guys. Oh, look at all the love. Love you, Core. Everyone in the chat. Have a good night. Whoop, whoop. Look at it. Love it. Love it. Love my Triple Loops. Love it. All right, I gotta go hit Mia up. Bye, guys.